The universe has something important to tell you today. There is an energy circulating silently, trying to reach your heart in a subtle but insistent way. Maybe you've already felt this. A slight discomfort, a memory that returns for no apparent reason, a presence that passes through you even in your absence. The universe is sending you a direct message, and it has everything to do with that person who has never truly left your field of perception. You may not realize it, but there is someone paying attention to you in a different way. This person is not just watching what you show the world. She's trying to understand what you're keeping. What the universe reveals is that this person feels something rare coming from you, a kind of depth that defies logic. There is something in your way of being that instigates, that calls, and this makes her want more than just coexistence. She wants access to her truth, but the path she chooses to do so is not straightforward. There is no confrontation, no explicit questions. She approaches through other means. The universe shows that she seeks to understand you in a spiritual way, trying to capture what the eyes cannot see. It can be through prayers, silent meditations, or even insistent thoughts that seem to cross time. It's as if she's looking for permission to enter a space of yours that you haven't yet decided to open up. And as calm as everything may seem on the outside, inside there is a turmoil, a kind of subtle frustration caused by the feeling that something is being hidden. Not necessarily a lie, but an essential part that she misses. This makes her uneasy, because for her the truth carries much more weight than any justification. Even if her intentions are good, she's not interested in apologies, she just wants clarity. And maybe you feel like that's an exaggeration. Maybe you don't even understand why intensity took over this dynamic. But the universe makes it clear, when the connection is deep, when there is something bigger at stake, the search for truth is not an option, it is a necessity. And this person feels this strongly, not because of distrust, but because they want to feel whole by your side. What is happening now is not the same as what has happened before. The way she looks at you has changed. She's tried to rationalize it, to let it go, pretending that I didn't need to know so much, but I reached a point where the desire to understand overcame the fear of finding out. And as she sought answers, through subtle, invisible means, she received signs, things that you may not have even realized you showed, but the universe gave her fragments of what you try to keep hidden. These fragments impacted her deeply, because what she saw was real. Not the image you project, not the rehearsed speech, but the raw layer that lies beneath it all. And that's exactly where what she wants lives. That silent surrender, that vulnerability that you protect so much. She doesn't want to beat around the bush anymore, she wants to know who you are, even when you're trying to hide. If you've noticed changes in her behavior, know that this is why. An annoyance, an urgency and, at the same time, a certain reverence for everything she is feeling. She doesn't want to invade, but she also doesn't accept staying outside anymore. And the universe confirms, there is something in you that only this person can see, something that activates such intense feelings in them that sometimes not even they can process them. Maybe you did something recently that set her off. It wasn't on purpose, but she felt it. And this reinforced the perception that there is an emotional territory that she has not yet been able to access. The search now is no longer for peaceful coexistence, it is for truth. And she's ready to face it, whatever the cost. What you may not know is that behind this person's quietness there is a battle going on. She tries every day to make sense of this subtle distance you've placed between you. There is a kind of silence that hurts more than any word spoken in anger. And this silence coming from you has the weight of something hidden. Even if you swear there's nothing wrong, she sees you as someone transparent, genuine, someone who hardly hides feelings. And maybe that's why this phase is so difficult for her. The universe shows that for this person there is a dissonance between who you are and what you have demonstrated lately. And that dissonance screams in places you can't reach with justifications. Because it's not about logic, it's about energy. There is a distrust that does not arise from malice, but from intuition. Something inside her warns her that you're not showing everything. And what bothers her is not the content of what is being hidden, but the simple fact that you chose to hide it. This triggers an old wound in her, a feeling of exclusion that she never knew how to deal with very well. She doesn't want your past, your explanations, your reasons. She wants it now, wants you present and whole. Behind the scenes, this person is connecting with something bigger. She asks the universe for help, looks for signs, tries to understand which part of the story is being lived without her. And this search is not casual, it is targeted, serious, committed, as if there were a mission to be accomplished, understand you completely, even if you close yourself off. When the universe responds, she feels the impact, because what comes back to her are naked truths, fragments of what you try to disguise, hide, postpone. It's not about big secrets, but about unspoken emotions, fears you didn't have the courage to reveal, parts of yourself that haven't been revealed yet, and this confuses her, because in her eyes you should have already passed that phase. The image that this person has of you was built based on intense experiences, on moments when you were spontaneous, vulnerable, real. And that's exactly why she feels so different now, because your way of acting is different from what she knows. There is a new filter among you, and that filter looks like fear. The fear of being seen in full, the fear of showing how much this connection affects you, the fear of admitting that this person still touches you in a place that no one else has. And even though this change happened subtly, she noticed and felt as if you were slowly moving away, without admitting it. This created an avalanche of emotions inside her, because when it comes to you, she doesn't want games, she doesn't want guesswork, she wants clarity, she wants presence, she wants truth. Even if you don't say anything, this person is trying to understand what has changed. And the most curious thing is that she doesn't want objective answers. She wants to feel you again, feel your energy without blocks, without hesitation. She wants to look into your eyes and recognize the same sparkle that made her believe one day that everything was different. The universe is also moving. There is a silent force pushing you both towards a point of revelation, a moment when it will be impossible to continue wearing the masks. And when that moment comes, there will be no more hiding it, neither on her part nor on yours. You may think you are protecting the connection by hiding certain things, but you are actually preventing it from reaching a deeper level. And that's the level she wants. It's not about curiosity, it's about belonging. She wants to be a part of your reality without having to force her way in, but she also won't wait indefinitely. She wants to know if there is still space there, if you still choose, if you still feel. And the universe is about to answer this question not through words, but through revelations that will come from your own behavior, from your simplest gestures, from details that you may not even notice. The time for doubt is running out, and when the truth comes out, it will be impossible to pretend that nothing has changed. You may be trying to keep things under control. You may even think that by showing less you are protecting yourself, but the universe knows the attempt to hide what you feel is creating a distance that this person feels with an intensity that is difficult to describe. And this distance is not just physical or practical, it is energetic. She realizes there is something between you that is not being named, something that was real and now seems suspended. The most curious thing is that, despite all this, she didn't completely move away. She observes, she feels, she stays connected. And even if you try to move on, there is something that pulls you back to you with an invisible force, as if the universe still has tendencies to resolve between the two of you. This person has been reflecting on many things, on what they feel, on what they understand about you, on what they perceive beyond what you demonstrate. She reviews gestures, analyzes silences, questions intentions, and in the midst of all this, something deeply disturbs her. The idea that you're trying to deny the intensity of the connection that exists between you. She feels that, in some way, you were also affected by this, that it wasn't something one-sided, that you were more involved than you would like to admit, but instead of opening up, you chose to hide. Instead of allowing the connection to blossom naturally, you tried to contain what you felt, rationalize it, stifle it. And this creates a reverse effect, because the more you close yourself off, the more she feels it. The more you try to control it, the more it overflows. And now this person is dealing with a realization that goes beyond words. The certainty that you are experiencing an internal duality, a conflict between what you feel and what you show. This deeply affects her, placing her in a state of waiting, doubt, and discomfort. The truth is, this connection was never ordinary. From the start, there was something beyond the norm, a magnetism that defies explanation, a silent yet intense exchange, something that made everything else lose importance. The universe reveals that this force is still active, now pushed to an invisible place, accessible only to those who truly feel it. And this person feels every nuance, every hesitation, every attempt you make to protect yourself. That's why she also hesitates, not wanting to invade, but also not wanting to delude herself any longer. She exists between two worlds, that of faith and that of fear. Yet, she remains, waiting for you to say what has not yet been said, to make room for something more authentic, more raw, more true. The hardest thing for her at this moment is feeling that you have become a mirror that confuses her, because she sees herself in you. She sees her own fears reflected in your restrained gestures. She sees her own insecurities projected into your attempts to distance yourself. And this is both enlightening and painful, because it reveals that you are more connected than you ever admitted. It's as if the universe created this connection to provoke an awakening in both of you. A call for truth, not theoretical truth, nor superficial truth, but the one that pulses behind the eyes, that reveals itself in moments of silence, that escapes even when the mouth insists on denying it. What this person wants from you now is not a plan or a promise. It's something simpler and rarer, presence. She wants to realize that you are really there, that you are not playing games or running away, that you feel what you say you feel, that there is intention behind the look, that there is truth behind the touch, that there is enough courage to sustain what has been built, even if silently. You may think she expects too much, but deep down she just wants what she already felt from you. The universe confirms, this connection has something sacred, unusual, transformative. And while you're trying to figure out what to do with all this, she's already made up her mind. She wants the truth, even if it hurts, even if it changes everything. It's not easy to deal with something that completely changes the way you see yourself. And that's exactly what this connection is doing to both of you. The universe shows that behind the silent reactions, the discreet withdrawals, and the attempts at rationalization, there is a much more powerful internal movement. This person is not just trying to understand you, they are trying to understand themselves through you. The intensity of this bond shook her emotional foundation. Even though in other relationships everything was more predictable, with you it was different from the beginning. Not because there were promises or grand gestures, but because feeling appeared before logic. Something inside her moved without her being able to control it. And this movement awakened a new desire, that of seeing yourself completely through the way you look at her. And that's scary, because seeing yourself through someone else's eyes takes courage, it takes vulnerability, and most of all, it takes trust. Confidence that she won't be judged, exposed, or rejected for showing parts of herself that she didn't even have the courage to face before. The universe shows that she notices this in you too. You are dealing with feelings that don't fit into old molds. You are being confronted with your own resistance, with your own emotional patterns, with parts of yourself that you have always preferred to hide. And all of this came to light because of this connection. She activated something in you, something that no one else had touched before. It is not a common passion, nor an idealization. It's something deeper, a silent identification, a recognition, as if you had known each other for much longer than the mind can explain. And this feeling, as beautiful as it is, also causes fear. The fear of not being up to it, the fear of giving too much, the fear that everything has only just begun. And so, sometimes, the tendency is to hide, act as if nothing is happening, pretend that it is just another exchange, but the universe insists, doesn't it? And that person knows it. She feels the difference in her body, in the way you affect her nervous system. Sometimes, it's as if your mere presence is enough to trigger an avalanche of sensations. The heart races. The mind goes into conflict, the body reacts. There are days when she wants to run into your arms and, at the same time, pull away just to understand what she's feeling, because it's never been like this with anyone else. She tries to find explanations, but what she feels for you doesn't fit into logic. So she turns to the universe, asks, observes, and listens. And what she's been hearing lately is that it's time to stop protecting yourself. That hiding the intensity won't make it go away, and that denying what you feel only prolongs a process that will inevitably have to be experienced. This person wants you to know that everything you try to hide, the fear, the desire, the surrender, is exactly what drew them to you. It was your intensity that attracted her. It was your truth that touched her soul. It was your way of feeling the world that awakened a dormant side of her. And now that she's seen it in you, she can't pretend she didn't. That's why she stays. Because even when everything seems uncertain, even when the future is scary, there is a certainty within her. This connection is real and not just any connection. She has tried to walk away, she has tried to convince herself that she could go on without answers, but she couldn't, because something in her still feels that there is more, that you didn't get here by chance, that this story hasn't been lived in its entirety yet. The universe confirms, there is a reunion being prepared, not necessarily physical, but emotional. A moment when barriers will fall, when fear will give way to surrender. And when that happens, nothing will be the same again. There comes a time when there is no point in running anymore. When everything inside you has been touched, when someone's presence has surpassed your defenses and reached a point too intimate to be ignored, the only possible way is to stop and listen. The universe whispers this now clearly. It is not about who will give in first, nor who is right. It is about what still beats, even after the silence. And what still beats is love. This person is changing, and so are you. And it is not just any change. It is a transformation caused by the impact you had on each other. The universe has made it clear that this bond was not meant to be ordinary. You two served as a mirror, a provocation, and an awakening to each other. And this, as confusing as it may have been at times, brought to light the deepest truth. This connection has shown you who you really are. She now realizes that, as much as she tried to understand everything mentally, it was through feeling that she truly understood. You showed her what it is to feel with your whole body, what it is to surrender without guarantees, what it is to desire something that escapes any logical explanation. And even without knowing what to do with all this, she feels gratitude, because of you, she reconnected with parts that she had forgotten and now wants to give back. The universe reveals that this person is ready to live what really matters, even if it is not perfect. Ready to look at you without demands, but with presence. Ready to accept everything that you are, including that which you have not yet managed to show, because what you have built, even if in silence, even if between the lines, has more truth than many bonds sustained by empty words. And maybe you are still afraid. Maybe you think that surrendering yourself will expose you too much, or that the intensity between you could become a burden. But the universe insists. It is exactly in this intensity that the present lives. What exists between you is not here to imprison, but to free. To free what you truly are. To free love from all the bonds that the world has taught you. If you can overcome fear together, what comes next will be light, because there will be nothing left to hide. There will be no more games or strategies. Just two hearts that have decided to truly meet after everything. And no matter how much time has passed or how many attempts have failed, the reunion that matters is the one in which the two finally show themselves as they are. That is the message of the universe. Trust what you feel. Trust the connection that has changed your way of loving. Trust yourself. Because true love does not require perfection, it requires courage. And that courage is there inside, waiting for a chance to manifest itself. If this message touched you, if you feel that it was written for you, then it is. You are not imagining it or exaggerating. There is something real between you, something that has transformed both of you and that can indeed find a new path with more maturity, more truth, and more lightness. If this story inspired you, write in the comments. All that remains is to love. Share this video with someone who needs to hear this message and subscribe to the channel to continue receiving content. This way, the universe still has a lot to say, and together we can listen with an open heart.